Alright guys, what is up? Need for Speed Unbound 2022. I didn't have a chance to make a video yesterday. I apologize. I was quite busy. So IGN released this article literally when the trailer came out, and it has a lot of information that I haven't really found anywhere else. It's kind of interesting. I think they do like an interview with Crimmins, I think his name is. But anyway, let's read some of this stuff. So basically, utilize next-gen consoles and Frostbite engine to deliver 4K 60 FPS visuals in a free-roaming world, open world called Lakeshore. The physics will run at a high frame rate as well, offering more control and nuance to the physical movement of the cars. So we're definitely going to get a new handling model, it seems. Creative director Kieran Crimmins says. That's a dude right there. Crimmins. I'm a Crimmins. He says, Need for Speed is about trend setting. Need for Speed is about breaking the mold. Need for Speed is about rebellion. It's at the heart of that street racing fantasy, so we should be exploring new art styles and new visions and new ways the game can look so that we can not only stand out from everything else, but also deliver innovation where we should be setting trends, Crumman says. So it says, in development since at least 2020, Need for Speed Unbound checks off many of the items on fan wish lists from previous years. In addition to putting a firm focus on street racing, Need for Speed Unbound will include an offline single-player mode, which is nice. We kind of need that, and cross-play, though not cross-progression. It will continue to put an emphasis on the cars themselves, meaning a cockpit view is out, but hood and bumper cameras are in it. So anybody that was like, we need, the interiors are modeled, or the people saying like the S14 had interior customization, like we saw the green seat, we saw like the green window tint on it. No cockpit view, guys. No cockpit view. But even though it looks very different from previous entries in series stalwart Ghost games is long gone, don't call it a reboot. I think Need for Speed Heat was extraordinarily successful for us. So we're following up this game from a really, really successful Need for Speed Heat, and the game continues to reach tens of millions of players. So our view of this is where Need for Speed is going. This is us sort of encapsulating the fantasy and setting it up for a monitor. See, that kind of like, they're like, all right, we knew Heat was good, so we're gonna make it just like Heat. But I mean, like, you guys already know, like, the whole car list, like, it's all the same cars basically. There's not enough new cars. It's freaking, anyway, I already made a video on that. So it goes on to say, if I was to boil everything up to what we are trying to do here, we are trying to make the player feel like an illicit street racer and make crazy bets like an illicit street racer and feel the highs and lows and thrills of what it means to kind of embody that fantasy. So I think there will be some kind of betting system. It seems, I think I read somewhere that you can like, it's in here, but you can like bet on like in the race, and then you can also bet if like to beat another player, I think. Is that Wave Race 64? Holy. Anyway, yeah, right here. Place your bets. It's reflected in Need for Speed Unbound single player, which will feature a completely new campaign structure. So when you go on a race, there's a buy-in, which basically you have to be able to play the race, and then you can win that back with a reward if you do well, or you can lose that money. So you had to make a choice in which race you want to do and what buy-ins you're comfortable with, Cormans explains. Every single race also gives you a little bit of heat. So if you do lots and lots of races in one session, your heat can build up and you'll take a huge gamble on the money that you're carrying around as well. So there's a consequence there. So it's basically just like Heat. And it seems like there's a day and a night. I don't know if it like you can switch like you did in Heat. I don't know. It will also include what Criterion describes as an immersive narrative in which two friends are torn apart by a robbery at a family auto shop, leaving the player to try and reclaim a priceless car by winning the ultimate street race. Every single one of those characters, we've actually made them full characters this time, Crimmins says. They've got little story arcs, they've got personalities, they've got their own car customization and style, and you can see them driving around. Okay. Sounds good, right? Sound good. So here's more about the betting. That element extends into side bets, which will allow players to target individual characters. It's like, I'm going to make sure I beat this character, and I'm going to make sure I beat this character. Crimmins says. It's not as big as the buy-in and the rewards of picking the event, but it is personal. So I wonder if there's like, God, what do you call that? Like, I guess the only thing I can think of is like Stardew Valley, how like you give gifts and like, they take more of a liking to you. So if like maybe you side with them, these racers, they'll like help you out, or like if you keep gambling against them, they just like get like real wild and mad. try to like ram you off the road or something. I don't know, man. Cops, of course, will be omnipresent in Need for Speed Unbound, but Criterion's approach will be much more tactical this time around. Individual vehicles will have their own strengths and weaknesses, which players will be able to exploit during chases. So it says individual vehicles will have their own strengths and weaknesses. So it seems like before, when they would have, you know, in Heat, you could buy what you wanted and like put the primary and the secondary on or whatever it was called. It seems like now, like certain vehicles, it's like, you want to drive this vehicle, this is what it has, deal with it. So I feel like if one car has a certain thing for cops, everybody's going to use that same car if it'll be like the best to do like long cop chases, you know? I don't know, man. You have to pick your strategy for the kind of cop that's coming after you, and if you get really good, you can even get in a full high heat chase. And if you know all the strategies, you can totally still get away with it. But if you don't, or you can't execute the strategies, you will be taken down. Which is kind of interesting that different cops are going to have different strategies. I kind of like that. So it's not just like, all right, you have the Crown Vics, and you have the Chargers, and you have the Corvettes, and like they just get a little more crazier and like faster and ram a little more, and then you get the SWAT. So this time it seems like each one has different tactics. So I'm assuming maybe like one kind will try to like disable you, one will ram more. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. Cops have at times presented an interesting problem for the series. They are a necessary part of the Need for Speed game, but they can prove disruptive or intrusive if a player wants to complete a task or simply vibe. Need for Speed Unbound addresses this by giving players a chance to deliberately decide how much cop heat they take on. The mechanic that governs how aggressive the police will be at any given time. Criterion is also including a police scanner and a spotting mechanic, giving players additional options for avoiding police if they so desire. So a police scanner sounds really freaking cool, and a spotting mechanic. So maybe, because it says, it does say that the racers, you'll see them drive around the map. So maybe you can like phone them, or I don't know. Or maybe they'll just tell you, hey, you're near this area. There's a cop rolling through. The cops are heavy here, and like you can listen to the scanner or something. That could be pretty freaking cool, man. Multiplayer, meanwhile, has been tuned to be as low friction as possible. I don't know how I feel about that. When you go into the multiplayer mode, you can drive around the world, meet up with friends, or just mess around. So this is meet up with friends. I'm assuming there's also going to be like anybody, like how the lobbies are now in Heat. You just jump in with whoever. It better be. While there, people will be pinging off race requests and playlist requests, and you can seamlessly join any one of those events at any time. Just like Heat, pretty much. The mode includes a banner system that will allow players to show off photos and achievements. They didn't say anything about Battle Pass or anything like that. However, EA did confirm that it will feature a series of free content updates after launch, including new features, experiences, content drops, and more. EA says it will reveal more details on post-launch content soon, which, if you guys look at the website, there's like 8 drops or 9 drops, and it seems like it'll be one a week until launch. One way or another, Need for Speed Unbound will include plenty of ways to make your car your own, including fully customizable characters, body kits, and wraps, as well as tiered vehicles similar to Forza Horizon and tie-ins with loads of really high-end prestigious brands. Gameplay customization will also include thousands of combinations for car tuning, as well as tiered vehicles similar to Forza Horizon. Cruz wasn't able to say how many cars will be in the new release, only that it will have a lot. So do we think the car list they posted is going to be final then? Because if it says only that we'll have a lot. Because what we have really isn't a lot. Like Forza Horizon has a lot of cars, you know? I don't know. We'll see. If they like double the car list, what it would like, I don't know. But they're like still blasting like Toyota on Twitter and stuff. And they dropped Audi. So I don't see them adding really much more than what we got. It seems to be a lot more exotics than tuners, which, come on, man. Need for Speed is about tuners. At least the underground games were. It's all wrapped in what Crimmins claims is the deepest driving system and the best handling that Criterion has ever put in one of its racing games. It's augmented by a brand new physics system, which Webster calls a super sophisticated physical simulation. That's comparable to other big driving sims. So it's going to be sim handling? I want arcade handling. It's Need for Speed. We don't do sim here. The difference, Webster says, is that Need for Speed aims to be as accessible as possible via driver assist mechanics while maintaining a high skill ceiling. I do like that though, like a high skill ceiling. Like you can have like, you know, pick up and play, but then if like you really learn the mechanics, you can like destroy other racers. I'm about that. I think players are really going to feel the difference and be able to, across a broad range of vehicle types, feeling the difference between a nimble, small European car or a big American muscle car or a hypercar. And then when they get into more specifics of adjusting how that car handles by modifying it to suit their preferences, that shows you the level of breadth and depth that we're able to uncover with that tech. It says ASAP Rocky will play a key role in the look and feel of Need for Speed Unbound, including releasing a brand new track. ASAP Rocky will also appear in-game as a leader in a dedicated mode called Takeover Scene, in which players work together to take over parts of Lakeshore. So he has his own mode. I wonder if this is like a separate mode from the campaign, like somewhere in the menu, or if like you go to him and it's like one of the NPCs you could go to and do races for them, and it's like you go to him to do the takeover. I hope it's like that. But like that's Carbon, right? That's Need for Speed Carbon. You would take over parts of the city and then you race, you know, the boss. And I think that if it has its own story, but it also has this in there, I think this game could have some really they could bring a lot of elements like this and just like take all the best from Need for Speed and like bring it all together. I think it could be really freaking good. But yeah, Takeover Scene. I don't know, was it players work together? I don't know if it means like players working together with the NPCs or players like how they were talking about the Grand. So maybe that's the thing, and like players work with other online players to take over parts of Lakeshore. I don't know how that's gonna work, but obviously thumbnail of this video, the whole Carbon reference, which is it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feature that was just hidden inside this IGN article. According to Crimmins, the style grew out of a conversation about what series is named Transcending Rebellion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And for Criterion, this is just the beginning. I think broadly we've got big ambitions and plans with modern games these days. The launch day is just a start, and that's no different for Need for Speed, Webster says. I think as a series, it's been a little bit underserved when you compare it to other genres or other live series, and we expect to be breathing life into the game over a period of time beyond launch. So that'll be an exciting journey for us too. So they definitely plan on keeping this game rolling like a live service, and you know it seems like they'll have like a weekly thing, kind of like how the crew has the summit with the Grand and content updates. I mean, I know Heat got canned pretty quickly, but I think if they just brought back Criterion and they're saying all of this, I mean, it probably depends on sales as well, and sales are probably going to be not as good because it's on PS5, you know, and Xbox only, the new Xbox, whatever it's called, and PC. So they're probably, because I know a lot of people are complaining. I know a lot of people are still on last gen consoles. I get it's been 2 years. They're hard to get. I think you can get Xboxes a little easier, but I think it's a good move because the game will be better and bigger because of it. But I think they will definitely lose some sales on it. So hopefully that doesn't cause them to like drop the game. But I think if they're saying all of this, they definitely most likely have stuff planned, more DLCs, content, what have you. And if they do weekly things, this could be probably one of the best Need for Speeds. I think I still haven't pre-ordered it. I'm waiting, but till they do more of the drops. But I don't know. This article kind of gave a little bit more info than what's on the website. But anyway, guys, you know the drill. Subscribe, come back. We're going to be doing meets and all kinds of stuff when this game comes out, man. Just like, I mean, I started my channel on Heat, so we're going to freaking jump back into Unbound. And anyway, guys, see you on the next one.